we're gonna talk about some books that I don't want anymore. Could it be any browner? Really. You guys know by now, I have not filmed a video in a while, and it's obviously obvious. I did not do a good job of putting things in the hat box here. Do this thing where I write, oh, it's not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. That's the theme. Somebody else will love it. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a book unhaul. So this is like a toe in the pool of the number of books that I should probably address of what's going on behind me. But I started that decluttering project that I talked about. I started to like film parts of it, and then I realized nobody wants to see that. And it's really hard to like film yourself decluttering. But anyway, we're gonna get rid of some books today, and there is a like book exchange library that I can donate them to finally, so I really want to get them out of here, which is why I want to film this video. So I have been putting some books in this little hat box here, which can barely contain them. We're just going to pull them out and we're going to talk about them. So the first one, there's a piece of paper in it that I want to remove, is the 365 Bullet Guide. So this is like how to be a bullet journaler. There was a time when I was going to be a bullet journaler, and I'm not good at it, and I don't have the patience for it. And it's kind of like tells you different ways to do it and different things you can have in your bullet journal, and I'm not that person. So the bullet journaler out there will have great fun with that book. The next one, and this one kind of bums me out. So this is Sweet Pea by CJ Scusey. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. This is the first in a series. It was pitched as American Psycho meets Fleabag, recommended by so many people that I adore. And I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. So in the front of every book that I've been reading for the past couple years, I do a post-it note with the dates I'm reading and the number of pages so that I can track it, because I'm a psychopath. So I gotta make sure I take that and anything else out of this. But this is about Rhiannon. And she's basically a serial killer, is what it is. And she does have a dark, demented humor, which I enjoy. But I just didn't love this book as much as so many other people did. And there's another book in here, because I can see it the way it's flipped, that is going to also fall into this category. I wanted to love it, I just didn't. I did part of it on audiobook. I just didn't connect with her, and I just didn't find as much humor as I expected to in it. And for someone who's dark and twisted, I would have expected to love this more, but I didn't. I'm also bummed because it's beautiful, but somebody else will love it more than I did, I hope. This is Down a Dark Hall, which is Lois Duncan. This is a YA mystery from the 80s originally. So I grew up reading Lois Duncan and loved her. And this is a book I had never read of hers. And there's also a movie, which is on my DVR from a long time ago, that I want to say like Charlize Theron or somebody is in, and I'm just curious to see it. But they wound up updating this book to try and make it more, hey, Post-it, modern. So this is about a bunch of teens who basically go to kind of like a private school, I think like way up in like New Hampshire or Vermont or something like that, and there's some sort of supernatural ghoulish stuff going on there. It originally came out in 1974. I did not read it in 1974, and it was revised in 2011. So it updates it with cell phones and texting and tries to make it a little bit more modern, but the problem is like the beauty of it being in the 70s is these people are completely cut off from the world, but they modernized it. And I don't really know why they bothered modernizing it. Like I would have just left it as is. I read it out of curiosity. I think I'm just way too, I hate saying these things. I feel like I'm way too old for it. It just didn't translate well or stand up well over time, or I've read so much dark, messed up stuff. Nothing about this was like scary to me or anything like that. Huge respect for Lois Duncan. I still think she's a gem. I still have a bunch of her books that I am going to reread. Stranger with My Face was one of the ones that I completely remember being freaked out about. But she did I Know What You Did Last Summer and Killing Mr. Griffin. So she's fabulous. That book just didn't do it for me. Just didn't do it for me. Okay, next book is Body of Evidence by Patricia Cornwell, and the only reason I'm getting rid of this is because I got the updated covers from Book Depository. So I have so many Patricia Cornwell books, and I was slowly building my collection again and starting to reread them again. Sorry, I'm not that I'm complaining that there's sunshine, but we're getting some sun here. And I'm just unhauling the old one. So, I mean, it could it be any browner? Really. I've had these books for longer than I care to admit. Here's the book depository one. Which one would you keep? But I actually did reread this already last year. Or earlier this year? Last year. I love me some K. Scarpetta, so I need to get back to these. Okay, next up. They All Fall Down by Rachel Housel Hall. This is a, and then there were none, homage, I guess I would say. I talked about this when I read it. I read this back in February. All the Post-its are coming out. This did not live up to the expectations and the hype for me. It was too slow getting off the ground, I found. It took too long to kill the first person in a book that's based on And Then There Were None, which is strangers lured to an island and they get picked off one by one. Like, we need a body count early on. And it just felt completely implausible to me. So I have her newest book, And Then She Was Gone? And Now She's Gone, which I'm excited to read. I've heard great things about her. I know she writes very dark, gritty books. This just missed the mark for me, and I was just bummed about it because I really wanted to love it, but I feel like there have been so many, And Then There Were None homages that I've seen it done better. Okay, up next. This is another one that I feel like a lot of people loved, but I was not those people. So this is The Flat Chair by Beth O'Leary. And I did not love this the way everybody else did. I really didn't connect great with the characters. So it's Tiffy and Leon. I love the premise of it. Leon's looking for a roommate. He is a night nurse at a nursing home. And Tiffy needs a place to live because she is just getting out of a relationship and she works during the day. So the deal with the flat share is Tiffy's there during the day, Leo's there at night, and on the weekends Leo stays with his girlfriend. So they are roommates who literally share a bed but never meet each other. And I love the premise of it, and they get to know each other by leaving each other post-it notes and communicating that way. And it's very much like she'll come home from work and see maybe he's left the breakfast dishes there, or he forgot to take out the trash, or he left his coffee cup somewhere, or she sees his clothes, and they start to sort of develop an idea of each other through living together but not seeing each other. I don't think I'm doing a great job explaining this. It's sort of the typical rom-com-y things where there's like misunderstandings, which I'm totally fine with, but I just found him to be too wishy-washy, and I feel like he didn't start that way, but then he became that way. So I don't know. And then her ex is just a flaming pile of garbage. So I don't know. The writing wasn't bad, but it was like a 3-star kind of a thing for me. I'll never read it again. Somebody else will love it. Okay, next up. This is another book that I really thought I was going to love, and I didn't love it as much as everybody else did. So this is another dark serial killer, female serial killer book. And there was a lot about Jane that I did like. And in this one, basically, she inserts herself into the life of this guy, Steven. And she basically is out to ruin him. And she has a connection to him, but he doesn't know who she is. And it slowly starts to unravel, or unfold. So there were parts of it I liked. Again, there I felt like there was like a little bit of implausibility to it. And it's funny because there's like a lot of like dog-eared pages in it. I don't know if that's showing well. But I just didn't love it as much as everybody else did. And I thought it was gonna be super dark, totally my speed kind of a thing. But again, I feel like I've just read other books that do it better or different, and I won't read this one again. I know there's a sequel to this one as well. I won't be picking it up. Okay, now I do have a couple cookbooks that I haven't gotten rid of yet, but I'm going to. So the first one is The Body Reset Diet by Harley Pasternak. I got this, it's funny, I think about my life in terms of where I was working at the time. So I would say I probably picked this up in around 2013. And I was just feeling all sorts of just sluggish and not good. This is a sort of combination of shakes and smoothies and meals and his concept of like resetting. So there's exercises in here that you can do, like weightlifting and things like that. But it's a lot of it is around his smoothie, and it's supposed to like power your metabolism and blast fat and shed pounds, and like I didn't do all those things, but it started to help get me onto a better eating path, which has been an evolution and a constant work for me. But I really enjoyed this book. I'm at the point now where it's like, I know how to make a smoothie. I don't need a book to show me how. I know how to lift weights. I don't need a book to show me how. I am a fan of his. I do have an exercise video. It's like from iTunes that it's like 5 different exercises for 5 days a week. It's like they're 20 minutes. It's like you power through, like he's a machine. So I do like him. I just don't need the book anymore because I know what I'm doing, I would say. And there's a lot of really great smoothies in here. It's a really good book. So I think somebody will enjoy having this, so more power to them. So I liked that. And then I wound up picking up another book that he did with more smoothie recipes. It's just unnecessary. This was a stupid purchase, let's be honest. I don't need it. Everything is on the internet, but somebody maybe who's looking to do a little reset can find this. I'm not a big fan of the D word. I am a big fan of the lifestyle change. I am everything in moderation. So the D word is like a dirty word to me, but if you are interested in how to make some really good, healthy smoothies and stuff like that, there are some good recipes in here. I just am a creature of habit, and I've locked in on a couple that I love, and again, the internet. The next one, oh yeah, I remember this book. So Richard North Patterson, Degree of Guilt. I have had this, I don't even want to tell you how long I've had this book either. This book came out probably in the 90s, I'm gonna guess. And 1992, Aces. I bought it after that, but still. So the blurb on the front is the most compulsively readable courtroom thriller since Presumed Innocent, which, if you guys have not read Presumed Innocent, brilliant, and the movie is great too. I was in a huge law, Grisham, courtroom, all the things, just phase for the longest time, and I gobbled up every legal thriller I could possibly get my hands on by every single author. So I do have a bunch of Richard North Patterson books still back here, and I guess I felt like I was not going to read this one again. So I'm not even going to look at it again. It was great. I remember reading it and it was great. Or I really enjoy him as a writer. So if you're into legal thrillers or something like that, give him a go. Okay, another cookbook, which was also so unnecessary, but your girl loves Laguna. So Kristen Cavallari's True Roots, Mindful Kitchen with more than 100 recipes free of gluten, dairy, and refined sugar. So this was maybe like 2 years ago. It was like when Very Cavallari first came out, I want to say, or maybe like right around then. And I was again trying to just sort of like revamp and get healthy and find accessible ways to introduce healthy living into my world, and I figured I would support Kristen Cavallari at the same time because, yep, I'm her. I'm that girl who still loves Laguna Beach. But this was just filled with things I will never ever in a bazillion years ever cook. There are a handful of recipes in here that are amazing, like the classic chocolate chip cookies. Die for those. So flippin' good. There's a couple really good desserts in here. But it also teaches you like how to make your own like almond milk by like squeezing almonds or some shit. Like we're not doing that. I'm not that kind of a household. So I am going to pull out a couple of good recipes from here and make some photocopies, and then I'm gonna donate this. But there's like a fizzy spicy margarita in here, which is delish. There were like some iced mocha matcha drinks and stuff, which no, I'm not a matcha person. I tried to be a matcha person and I'm not. But it's like scallops, which I'm never gonna make, and like really big like bison strip steak, which I'm never gonna make, and more scallops and more crab things and whitefish and mahi and duck and chutney. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of these things. I am not that person. So we're gonna photocopy the desserts and we're gonna call it a day on that book. Okay, and then the last one that's in the pile for now is Best Friends Forever by Margot Hunt. I talked about this in a wrap up, I don't know, it was probably like 2 years ago when I read this book. This was psychological thriller-ish. To me, just read The Last Mrs. Parrish instead if you want to read a book about two women who are unlikely friends who are dark and messed up, because this book, well, I don't think it was trying to be that, and I don't even know which book came out first, so I'm not saying this is like a copycat in any way, but this is about two women in Florida. One's like uber rich, has it all. The other is, she's married, she has kids, she's like kind of, you know, holding it all together. And uber rich's husband is murdered. And it becomes like, who's the suspect? And are they really friends, and backstabbing each other, and what's going on behind the scenes? And where I think this fell down for me is Last Mrs. Parrish. Say that 3 times fast. You really saw the relationship build between the two women, and you understood why they were friends, and you understood their connection. This, I didn't buy the friendship at all. Like, it was too fast-tracked, and we were like in the murder, which I love, but I didn't understand why they were friends or any of it. And there were literal inconsistencies in the book, and not in a way of like people telling lies, but I think editing mistakes, I would say. So I just didn't love it. So Margot Hunt, which is a pen name, wrote another book. I want to say it's For Better or Worse, which came out after this, which was way better. Another dark and twisted psychological thriller, or psychological, yeah, we can call it psychological thriller. And it really sort of tests your moral compass, I would say. So it is a married couple, that book. They are lawyers, and like on their first date they talk about like how to get away with murder, and fast forward many years and they find themselves in a position where they're talking about it seriously because of something that happened. So that was a way better book. I am not done with her as an author in any way. I just didn't like this one. So that's gonna do it for today because I'm getting super rambly. Thank you guys for spending any of your day with me today, and for sticking around and tuning in and all the good stuff. I hope everybody is doing really well, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye everybody.